properly, we refer to, what in the West is called Easter, we call Pascha, which is Passover. It is, it comes from the Hebrew Pesach. Again, into the Greek, it becomes Pascha. And so we call Easter Pascha. It is the Passover. Easter is the Christian Passover. So it has very definite connections to the Hebrew Passover. But we don't, of course we don't keep the Jewish Passover because Christ is the new Passover. He is.
Talking about this a minute ago, Passover is fundamentally about God's power to liberate a people from bondage. And so part of the ritual is, mark the doorposts by sacrificing a lamb and taking the blood and putting it on the doorpost so the angel of death knows to pass over the homes. But I don't think Passover itself is, if you really look at the Jewish Passover Seder, even we're retelling the story of, once we were slaves in Egypt, and then God rescued us, delivered us with an outstretched hand. And even today, 2015, if you go to a Passover Seder, the people are reclaiming the language. It's we. It's not our ancestors were slaves in Egypt. We were slaves in Egypt. So we're part of that community. So that's the context for what we call the Last Supper, and what in church today we sometimes call Eucharist, which, by the way, Eucharist is a word that means good grace. Yeah, so Thanksgiving, basically. The meal that we call communion or Eucharist, I think, always has that sense of we are remembering and invited to participate in God's power to liberate us from every kind of bondage. I mean, I can't really separate Exodus from communion.